Honestly, I had really high hopes for this album, so I was pretty disappointed when I heard the standard record. 1. One of this album's biggest flaws is its production. It's incredibly monotonous and boring. It makes most of the tracks sound the same. The additional 15 tracks only emphasize that problem. I know Midnights was controversial, but with that album I could easily tell which track was which. With the Tortured Poets department, I had so much trouble telling the tracks apart. I do think Jack Antonoff is to blame to a certain degree. However, I think a large part of the problem is that Taylor often likes to play it safe with the production of her songs and doesn't take too many risks. She spent so much time focused on the writing that she treated the production as an afterthought, and it shows. I stopped listening to the album halfway through and listened to Folklore instead to assure myself that she's capable of making sonically interesting music. 2. I have very mixed feelings about the writing. There were lyrical highlights throughout the project, but also a lot of low points. Some of the writing feels very cramped and overcomplicated. It's as if she was trying to say as many words as possible in a small duration of time to make the songs sound more complex and deep than they actually are. It messes with the overall flow of some songs and makes them sound clunky. 3. The album's lyrical content is a mixed bag. I thought the baby line in "But Daddy, I Love Him" was absolutely hilarious and a nice touch to the overall song. But other lyrics in the album were quite questionable. The name dropping in the title track was unnecessary and felt like a page taken from Lana Del Rey's book. The 1830s line in "I Hate It Here" is really strange and should have been left off the song. 4. The attempts to sound poetic and deep can sometimes come off as confusing with the amount of unnecessarily complex words Taylor includes in her lyrics. It feels like she looks for the most complicated words in a thesaurus and uses them in her songs. The overall writing feels very derivative of Lana Del Rey's writing style. Sometimes, simpler lyrics can do a better job at getting the point across. 5. There is too many songs. This album would have been a lot better if it was significantly shorter. There is no need for 31 tracks. It drags out the record and makes it harder to listen to. Taylor needs to learn how to adapt the less is more mindset when making her albums. I would like her to make an album that is only 10 tracks long, so that she can actually focus on quality instead of quantity. 6. I do not think that this is Taylor's worst album, but it is definitely one of her weakest. A problem I noticed leading up to the album's release was the reactions of people on the internet towards the album before it had even come out. There were people that were excited to praise the album, and there were people who were planning to hate on the album. I think both mindsets are incredibly unproductive, especially the latter. It is important to listen to any project with an open mind and acknowledge what it does and does not do well. 7. I think the anthology, while not great, is still better than the first half of the album. I would like Taylor to make an album with Aaron Cessna as the main producer without Jack Antonoff. 8. My favorite tracks from the full album are Florida, So Long London, and The Albatross. I can't tell you my least favorites because I honestly couldn't remember them.